Hello and welcome to the Nothing Happened podcast. Probably the best way to enjoy theories, discussions, and analysis. Oh my god, I fucked up. I'm gonna start over. Okay.
Okay,
I changed it. I had changed it. All right.
No, we keep that.
Fine.
We keep that.
Okay.
Jamie, keep it in.
I hope you all have your Vega Coffee ready because hello and welcome to the Nothing Happened podcast. Probably the best way to enjoy
Wait, why
theories,
are you doing it again?
discussions. Because I wanted to add the coffee part. I was all hype. I added it and I forgot to. Oh, look what you made me do. Now I got to start over again.
No,
Yo, Ma, if you're making it just as bad as the last intro, what are you doing?
no, it's funny.
All right.
Why are you interrupting the man?
No, don't stop. Don't start it again. Just go on.
Okay.
What? Did someone pause the recording? Who paused it?
No, pause.
I didn't pause it yet.
Okay. Yet.
In Philly, we don't do pause.
All right. Well, welcome to the Nothing Happened podcast. And today is actually a very special podcast since we have Kev D OG in the house.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Who let the dogs out?
Let's go.
No, you don't. He's not in your house. He's in my house.
Yeah, I actually am.
Oh, yeah, he actually is.
I'm actually tainted by Marth right now.
Ew.
Oh, that sounds so wrong.
Kev, it's funny because I'm trying to make an expression in here saying that whenever we drop a crazy fury, we say it's tainted.
No, it's
So thank you
tainted.
for pushing the
This is the
agenda.
bad thing, though. Sorry.
All right, now, my name is Starknightandilex, and we are joined by my friends KubeOfTheRedSea, Tainted Marth, and Kusoland. All right, everyone, give everybody
Wait, so
a round
Kev's
of
not your
applause.
friend?
Wow,
Well,
that's crazy.
he is the GOAT and a friend.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of saved that, I guess.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. So,
So,
yeah,
yeah. So
get
what's the
started,
topic?
guys.
What's the topic? I forgot.
last time we were talking about taking the time to talk about each about the star ads, analysis, our personal thought, our theories, and we did the last five. So now we're going to the initial five, so which goes from Luffy to either if you consider Sanji as the last one or Nami.
I think
So the
Nami's
East Blue
the last
five.
one. Right. Yeah, we all agree that Nami's the last one, right?
Y'all want to do Luffy first?
You know what? If you want to, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Wait, Luffy was the last one?
No, he's the first one, but he wants to
No,
start
I'm
with
saying we
Luffy.
want to go with Luffy. Yeah, I don't mind talking about Luffy. Just thinking right now, like...
Wait, why are we starting
I
with Luffy, though? Like, last time we went from the latest...
Oh, so
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it would be the last one we talked about was
Chopper.
So
it should be Nami.
it would Nami next.
Should it be Nami?
Yep.
Just yep. No, come on, discussion, please.
Well, all I'm saying is in the Power Rangers fruit themed thing that Oda did, Nami was number 3 and Sanji was number 5.
Okay.
So
Let's
so we can start with
fucking
Sanji.
That is
Go.
that's kind of weird. Sanji's
Wait, I don't
not
know
three.
anything about Power Rangers.
Oda, he did this like color spread thing where each of the Straw Hats were like sort of Power Rangers. Like it's not literally Power Rangers, but he made like a superhero team. They're all based off of like fruits.
That's
So
right.
Luffy was number 1, and he was like
As
an
an
apple or
apple.
something. Yeah, and Brook was grapes. So he had a bunch of like Afro grapes.
Okay, yeah.
And he was number 9, and then Nami was one of them, and she was number 3. So I think that's a cemented.
Oh, well, alright then.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys got me.
I feel like also
Well-
in a lot of other campaigns as well, like just visually, it's always been Zoro, Luffy, and Nami as like the first 3.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we talk about Caesar Clown next, right?
True.
What about Karibu or Carrot?
What?
No, dude, don't say the C word. We'll summon the
you
goat
always say
Bushido into this podcast.
Oh my god.
I wish Discord could do like the sound effects, because all I could think of was like the canon event, like Spider-Verse noise, the like the name is from.
No, you gotta get used to this. Andy's always slandering names like Karibu is Koribu. Like, I don't know, he goes into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well,
for some
Koribu
reason.
is
Yeah.
the brother of Caribou.
Actually, yeah.
Isn't that Garibu? No, that's the guy from the cover story.
Yeah.
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 Also, Andy is the great guy that I once tried to troll him, saying because reading the latest chapter that came out like a month ago, and I just wrote "Rest in peace, Gaimon," and he literally read on stream. He read it as Goemon. He couldn't say Gaimon. He said Goemon. That's how Andy is legendary in
The
one in the One Piece
mystical
community.
ninja. The mystical
Yeah, man.
ninja.
Goemon. Come on, man, my
Well-
eyes are itchy.
Well, like, yeah, the whole Nami thing is like, yeah, we don't really know a lot about her backstory, or like before the whole Kokoyaki village,
Okyot Kingdom.
Stuff.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah,
No, you're right.
Yes, and
Kokoyashi village.
Kokoyashi.
Or Kyoto Kingdom. Say
Yes.
one or the other.
Can I say Arlong
Doing
Park?
it on purpose, Andy. Come on.
Arlong Park, yes, Arlong Park. Arlong Park.
And what was the name of the kingdom she was that
Okyot. It's Tokyo backwards.
that's where she was found?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't know anything about that. I think it's pretty fascinating. Like, what really caused? What was the history behind that? Like,
Wait,
maybe
so we are
was
talking
it?
about Nami first?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
so
apparently.
confused
Yeah.
now.
Was it
Yeah.
orchestrated by the government?
my
Like,
God.
was this? What were they? Were they trying to wipe out people that were still believing in Nika? Like, were they? What were they rebelling against the government? Like, what's
Hear me
going
out.
on? What was this war?
Hear me out. Nami has this interesting gift, which I say that Nami could be one of those people who was maybe just born with this innate ability of climate, weather and map creating. And 30 years ago, there was the hunting games, right? Well, if they continued, there would have been 18 years between Nami, where she was found, and God Valley. That's a multiple of 3, meaning that if they continued the hunting games, there would have been a hunting game on the same year that Nami was found. And I would say it's weird that it seems that Belmer just dropped everything and went into hiding back in her hometown. Like, no one, remember, even Arlong did they even know that in the registry, she was not even listed living there. They only saw it because of the house they were cooking, so they saw the smoke.
Okay, but the question for this stream would be, like, do you think that Nami is connected somehow to an ancient, like a blood or ancient ancestry somehow, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Cube?
Honestly, I could see it. Either it connects to I think it's going to be the connection that connects the sky people with the fishmen, because Nami has a big connection to the fishmen with her background. Shiroshi reminds that natural connection, nature weapon naturally connects to Nami, but then Nami has this crazy connection to the wind and weather. So I always felt like it's either going to connect to something with fishmen or sky people. And, she was sent to Wizeria, which I think is very telling of maybe it's her ancestry.
There's that whole thing. People call her a witch.
Yeah.
That is true. That was quite the thing at the start of the series, eh?
Maybe she
Yeah,
has
I mean,
one of,
okay,
like,
here's a couple of other things. Like, for one thing, with the Oikot Kingdom, we know that in the live action, at least, we actually see the Oikot Kingdom on a map as Nami is a child, and she's kind of flipping through the map of book of maps, right? And then we see that Oikot Kingdom actually is in the shape of like a dragon, which is quite interesting, right? Because that would tie into the whole idea of wind and sort of weather events. And then it's also interesting that, again, that's what caused the chaos in Oikyo Kingdom. Well, that's what it looks like almost, as if there was some sort of a crazy storm that kind of went by,
Yeah.
right? And then finally, we also have Oikyo, like you said, Cube, where it's like, if you read it out backwards in Japanese, then that would be Tokyo, which is very reminiscent of when in Japan, back in the days, Kyoto was the old capital in Edo period, right? And Kyoto, the kanji for Kyoto, if you flip that backwards, it becomes Tokyo. And so I wonder if that's some sort of a play that Oda's doing there to sort of almost hint that maybe Oikyo had something to do with like an old capital of the world. Or even an old capital of, I don't know, maybe Wano? I don't know how that would connect though. But yeah.
Oh, that is such an amazing segment. So I think that I have some weird thoughts going in my head, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, is this real? Am I just going crazy? But I feel as though
Are you jet lagged?
Nami, no, well maybe. Well, I feel as though Nami could have a lot more connection to the fishermen than like we even realized outside of Arlong and Jinbei. Because it's like thinking about that, when we see Wano, we know that Wano was also a place that persecuted the fishermen as well, and Oikyo, obviously Tokyo. Wano's based on Japan. What if the same thing happened? And that's why Nami was being hunted down, or the people were being hunted down in some form. We don't know the intricacy. I love the idea, Cube, that you brought up with the game, the God Valley. That is awesome. That is really cool. I never thought of that before. Because that would...
Well, I like that too. Just one thing about the God Valley thing is that, like the hunting game, is that why would the Marines be involved? I feel like they would. I guess Garp got involved. before.
Exactly, like anything
Yeah.
could have happened. If it's like the other pirates crashing in, and Belmir just finding the thing and realizing the situation, realizing I want to save those kids, but can I go against the whole world? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
You
would
can
like to add two things. One thing I remember is like, because you know the whole Nami has the whole tangerine theme, right? It's tangerine, not orange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has the orange hair. What if Oda takes inspiration from like the story of Momotaro? Is it he was apparently born from a peach?
Yep.
What if Nami was born from a tangerine, or I don't know, like.
That's cute.
Yeah, that would be funny.
And
And
the
is it-
other thing I was gonna say was, it slipped my mind. I'll bring it. I'll try to remember. I forgot the other thing.
Yeah, and also like to bring up, we're talking about the hunting games. You would say, is there something more that connects back Belmir? But she never talked about the God Valley or the rocks. But in episode 0, which Oda made a manga version of it, so it's on panel. When Shiki escapes, the marine that basically mocked the other marines being scared of Shiki was Belmir, showing that there's another connection. She had something about Shiki, which is a character that was part of stopping those hunting games 30 years ago.
Very
It's like
true.
Oda putting the breadcrumbs. There's something, did something.
Speaking of Shiki as well, it's really interesting that Nami is quite often connected to lions, right? With the I Am Lion One Piece, as well as the fact that she keeps on being abducted by people that are kind of connected to being lions, like Shiki the lion, and then we have Absalom, who was also just like part lion. And then I feel like there might have even been like another example, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But she's also kind of got the epithet of being like a lioness kind of person, right? She's also like often kind of like in cover stories and stuff, she's with like lions as well. And the fact that she's a cat burglar, so she's quite feline anyway.
True.
But then there's the other side of her where she's kind of monkey-like as well. Like she represents Sun Wukong just as much as Luffy does, in that she can also control the weather, shapeshift. She can also control a weapon that can stretch and contract. She also has the ability to control a cloud, right? Just like Goku in Dragon Ball Z. And so I'm curious as well whether maybe she connects, maybe not just to a fisherman, maybe she's got other blood as well. Like maybe she's connected to the mink as well. Because, I mean, her mother also is Balmir, literally meaning beautiful horse, right? And then she's connected to the lions. She's also connected to monkeys. There's a lot of animals she's connected to. And then she's on Zoe, and then she gets given, like, of all the people, she is the one that gets given the national treasure of Zoe, which is that dress, right? And then she gets really close with Wanda. Wanda, a dog, which is a man's best friend, or in this case, a woman's best friend.
So as
I wonder if there's something there.
As the only French-speaking person in here, I have to
Oh my
also
god!
add.
No, that's Maki.
No, I have to add that the mère is the French word for mother. Sorry, just needed to add that.
Okay, you know what? Do it.
And,
I was not going to do it.
and-
It's mother-in-law. Mother-in-law.
No, but isn't mare also C in
It's the
French?
German word.
Yeah, pronunciation. It's not written the same way. It's MER, but yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
it's the same in French as well?
Yeah, so in
German we
French.
say mère, M-E-E-R.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
isn't
it is
that
meant
also-
to be beautiful mother, but there is also a second word
Yeah,
play
I
where I
just-
think
I-
it is.
it just
horse.
Yeah,
wanna-
mother-in-law.
But I do appreciate it.
With the whole thing
Motherfucker.
Kuso was saying with the lions, and well, I guess Arlong did kidnap Nami technically, and he was lion to her. I guess you could add that.
Oh my god.
I missed
And,
that.
but I remember what I was gonna say about the whole. It was like Nami's lineage. Like we don't really know about what her race was and all that. Like maybe she came from a kingdom and a lot known for having a lot of people that could like predict weather. They just it's like a thing. And the government wanted to wipe them out. They thought they were deadly, or I don't know. And but the only thing that kind of bugs, I just thought about this also, that kind of doesn't make this work, is that why about Nojiko? She was there too, and she doesn't seem to have a weather intuition.
They were found together. Don't forget.
Yeah, they were found together. Yeah,
it could be Ginny and Ivankov. Like we don't know if they're actually blood-related siblings, but they're siblings like Ace and Luffy.
Yeah, but
I
they
mean,
could be from the same place, like not necessarily related, but
I see what you mean.
they could carry
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same
absolutely.
like weather intuition, whatever Nami has. But I haven't seen anything like that with Nojiko, not that I recall.
I mean,
So,
found family is a strong part of One Piece anyway, right? So
Yeah.
I
it
love
kind of
the found family trope.
exactly.
and the whole the Lunarians are wiped out practically, and they had like special traits. I could see it being same thing where
Yeah.
Nami's from, but
So I gotta be the boring part, the boring guy here. Maybe Nami is just a smart talented woman, just like Robin.
The fact that Arlong,
As in, she has nothing special kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like that I think that's crazy or anything, but on the other hand, like, remember when it came out that Luffy might be connected to Joy Bear or whatever, or when it came out that he might be like an ancestor of some important person, and so many people were like, oh no, it's another Naruto, like
one.
the chosen one and all that. So if that was true for like almost every crewmate, I feel like people would not like it.
The specialness of the people doing it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that if it just wasn't Luffy. If it was like Sanji or Chopper, like, okay.
I mean, it's
I
crazy.
think also, I'll give 2 points on why I think for Nami might be the only Straw Hat. If there's more Straw Hat like Luffy, Nami will not get, people will not get upset. Is Arlong thinks that all humans are inferior, yet he called her gift a God-given gift. That's why the village for him, he was protected. It was his version of protecting, and now was so obsessed with his own intelligence. But the only time where he created someone to be smarter than him in nature was Nami's weather abilities. Like, there's this weird thing with people keep referring to her abilities just not being normal. Vivi, same thing.
I agree.
So I've never heard of some ability like that.
Exactly. Yes. And Vivi, again, her powers comes, well, not her powers, her ancestry goes all the way back to Lily. So, like, someone like her respecting her enough to be like, this girl's got something. You know, there's definitely something going on.
If we're talking about abilities, she obviously has Conqueror's Haki.
Absolutely.
You reckon? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's definitely possible because Nami's gag has gone for literally so long. She's always like the motherly voice, caring about people. She is like basically overcome her trauma. You know, we got that at the start of Fishman Island with her talking to Jinbei. And obviously, it's not like she just brushed it aside, but it's like, look, this is who she was, that she's accepted it, she's moved on next to Luffy, and she's able to become better from it. And I feel like that's what Luffy does with all the Straw Hats, obviously. He helps them become the best version of themselves they can be. And I feel like if Oda is going to give... Okay, this is going to sound bad, but just hear me out. Power scalers, beware. If Oda is going to give Zoro Conqueror's Haki, right? And Zoro obviously has this great dream as well, just like Luffy. It would make sense to me, because I'm not 100% on Sanji getting it. Not 100%. He definitely could. But I do think it wouldn't be shocking if Nami got it as well, especially with what she's been doing with Zeus. Like, the fact she's able to get Zeus so easily, like, to me, that says something. That the fact that one of Big Mom's soul, you know, like another Conqueror's Haki person, is submitting to her so easily. I don't know. I think there's definitely a possibility it happens.
She's also a great war technician as well, which is really interesting. You know, she's always like, she doesn't necessarily fight herself, but she's a very good commander. Yep. And she's very good at getting people on her side, even though it's not really in their intention to be on her side. Like, you know, in the Whole Cake Island, for example, all the homies were forced to sort of help her out, right? But it's really interesting that she's kind of again and again shown as a person who's very capable in a war. So I'm really excited to see what she's going to do in the final war as well.
Yeah, and to go back, you know, with the whole... because obviously Sanji and Usopp follow the same thing of... The one thing Rady talked about with Conquerors, especially when he's talking about how Conquerors aspect, is that act without a doubt. So we kind of understand why Sanji and Usopp are not at that level yet. But you think of Nami throughout the story... And we've seen most of those, all the Conquerors have been sharing a background on how they grew up. They all had a harsh living. So if you look at how Nami lived her life, she does have like the ingredients for someone to later on, you know, just unlock Conquerors, you know, with the way she, you know, seeing her mother being shot in front of her face, you know, 10 years of literally like being hated by everyone. Even though they didn't really hate her, she thought she was hated. It's not an easy life, but she had to keep on working to, you know, it's not easy as a child to know that, oh, it's okay that everyone hates me. I can only talk to my sister, but I'm protecting everyone. You know, as a child, it's tough, so. I
mean, yeah, she kind of stood her ground against Kaido, right? When he was, like, talking shit about Luffy, she like, told him to fuck off, basically.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, as well.
So just to support what you just said, I mean...
Yeah, man, it's like... And man, yeah. And Nami is obviously... But I won't lie, I wish that her gag of taking... what's called wallets would come back a bit. Because that's something I used to love with Nami.
I do miss a lot of the gags that a lot of the Straw Hats had, actually. You know, like post-time skip. Like, Zoro used to smile a lot more, or the
when they imitate each other. Or that was always
yeah, those little moments. I do miss them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kev, do you think that we will see an ancestor of Nami's in the Void Century?
I think it's definitely possible. I feel as though one of the reasons why I think, because every Straw Hat for the most part has had like a last name reveal or some kind of family reveal. I think if we don't see an ancestor of Nami, that's fine. But I wouldn't be shocked if we find out she has like some Will of D connection or something. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be something more to me. Like, and we got Vivi with the D reveal relatively recently, obviously. So it's like, and Nami and her are always very close. And Nami, Luffy, all three of them, you know, I feel like they have a very good shared bond. I feel like that's not crazy to me if I think that, you know. But I do think it's possible for sure.
I like that, like, with the whole name reveal. Like, technically, like, Oda did marry Nami, a girl that was, you know, cosplaying as Nami at some event, Shonen Jump event or something, anime convention, I don't know what. So Oda could just give Nami the name Ichiro Nami.
Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
Bro, how do you come up with that stuff? Oh my god, Andy.
Hey man, listen. Remember, it's when we let him cook on the next Straw Hat, and he came up with the best possible candidate, Wapple. Don't question the craft. Don't question the craft.
I never would question it, no.
Yeah.
Man, I had so many thoughts until you just said that, and now I've been wiped clean. I've been completely Lelouch.
Well, yeah, like I was
Hey,
like the whole thing about what I think the One Piece is.
You know what they say about Lelouch? You know what they say?
What?
There's always something that stays around. There's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
There we go. That's
so
true.
I guess that's enough about Nami, though. We should, like...
But one more thing, like,
Okay.
Nami, like, the whole... I just do really think the whole fruit theme is going to be important. Like, like, with the whole Japanese folklore and fruit, like, the whole peach theme, like... I don't know anything about tangerines. There might be some cool lore folklore
You mean
about
melons,
tangerines. Well, because she's, like, got the whole tangerine theme, like a fruit. And, like, fruits are really important in the series, the forbidden fruit, the devil fruits.
Well, all right. This is me being a bit too much of a nerd because I've done a lot of like plant research over the past years because just I find it interesting. I think maybe the reason they chose tangerines is because, you know, tangerines is like a citrus and they're related to like lemons, very, you know, obviously in nature. And with the tangerine, you have like the peel, which is like very tough, very sour to eat. If you eat it, it's like gross. But then on the inside, it's very soft and, you know, easily destroyed. I feel like the tangerine itself could be an obvious representation of Nami's characterization in the story. Yeah. Like the fact she is very hard on herself. She is very exposed. And then the one time that she's able to like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to open up, is when she gets a tattoo. She, you know, it breaks through the exterior. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like that could easily be the reason as to why.
So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
When I was in Japan, we had that guide that showed us around to the golden statues. And he told us that Oda decided to make the connection with tangerines for Nami because the region where he comes from, Kumamoto, is famous for their tangerine trees.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
fun fact as well. When I was in Kumamoto and I was talking to the local people there, I can't remember who it is, but she was saying that like Nami is actually based on like a local hero there.
Oh, wow.
Like some sort of myth or legend in that area. And I cannot for the life of me remember who that was meant to be. But I think, yeah, she's meant to be like a symbolism of Kumamoto as well, for sure, like you say.
Joy girl.
Like the whole symbolism thing, like I think post-time skip Nami was, her design, like appearance was based off Nami Amuro, that pop star. She's done the openings for One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, well, you know, when Kev was talking about the tangerine, he was describing what, you know, how a tangerine is, you know, with taste. I'm kind of wondering if, obviously, I'm not saying that it's like her ancestors are behind it, but like maybe like she reconnects to that culture of this could explain how spirits found themselves devil fruits. If there was a tribe of people who were known for just like Nami was known for tangerines, but what if there was a whole wide of people with different fruits, and they had that weird connection of maybe they found a way to store their loved ones or people or certain spirits inside devil fruits.
Oh, I love that. That's very interesting. She's from a tribe or something. That's cool.
Yeah.
I will say that the Mandarin might also be a symbolism of the sun, like how Hanuman ate the sun by accident, and how Luffy ate the Goma fruit by accident. So the Mandarin might be a very good sort of symbolism of the sun as well.
I'm super confused. Because in German we call tangerines mandarine, and now you just said Mandarin yourself. So is this just like another word for tangerine in English, or
no? I don't know. I keep calling it a Mandarin, but like it's its own thing. I think. Like I think in the States, don't they call it Satsuma? Or something?
Mandarin's like the language.
So,
yeah, but also
no, but there's also the fruit.
Yeah. Basically, how can I say that? Mandarins, like tangerine clementines, they're technically also mandarins because mandarin is the category as well as the fruit. But not all mandarins are clementine tangerine. It's just like depends if you talk about the category or the fruit itself. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, enough about that orange girl. Let's go on. Who was the next? Like the blonde
Sanji.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Andy, what was his name again?
Sanji.
Oh, Sonji?
Sonji.
Oh yeah, Sanji. I remember that. Oh my god.
Sanji.
Oh wait, did you actually butcher Sanji as well?
I don't remember, but apparently I did. Sounds like something I would do.
I think it was the same night. In the same night where he started talking about this crazy character in Dressrosa. I said, which one? You don't remember him? Hakubo. Dude, I think it's the same night he dropped that gem on me.
Okay, let's be for real. Hakubo is way easier to mess up than Sonji.
Gotta love Andy for that.
It's because I saw Kuso's video, which y'all should check out. Amazing video. If Joy Boy was a Pokemon trainer, he goes with the whole thing that Sun, San, Sun, 3. That's why it messed with my head.
Okay. So since I've been quiet,
but I feel like you messed it up before you watched the video. What?
Kuso, why you interrupt me? Why are you like that?
But no, I was responding to Andy, whereas you were going to start a new conversation. So there was a delay, Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I forgot you're all the way there in Aussie land.
New Zealand, bro, stop.
I know. Since I was been quiet for a while, wait, I gotta look at that in a second. Kev just tried to show me something.
Do we want to know what it is?
Sanji's ancestor, maybe, but I think like if there's this ancestor thing, if this is a thing, Sanji's one might be the one who like wrote the book about the All Blue. That's it. That's what I leave you with.
Well, you want to go with like their blood ancestor, because doesn't Sanji, he probably has all these different kinds of blood injected into him. Probably has devil fruit blood, green blood. He probably has clone blood. I don't know. He probably has a bunch of different DNA genes.
Doesn't Sanji and Luffy have like? Remember, their blood was very specific in Fishman Island. They had a specific type of blood.
Yeah. Sanji. Who was able to give him blood? I forgot who.
Jinbei.
It was Jinbei.
No, not Jinbei.
No.
Jinbei has the same blood as Luffy. Sanji has a very rare blood, which was very hard to find.
Yeah, but they found these
who did they
very
get it from?
good-looking male fishmen. Maybe not. I don't know. Were they?
I'm kind of
The blood type is
right
I'm seeing online. It's SRH negative. I don't know. And Chopper said apparently it's an extremely rare blood type.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like wasn't it Okama actually that yeah.
It was.
And that's why he was super terrified after.
Yeah.
Fucking Sanji, man.
I'd just like to point out that Sanji definitely has that fourth energy, When he joined the Straw Hats, the chapter name was literally the fourth person, so...
Yeah.
I mean, with his new bounty being the fourth as well, I feel like that's what he's destined to be.
Well, for Judge, I can't really. I don't know. It's a blank with like his ancestors, but with Sora, I feel like it could go anywhere. Like she could be really significant to that whole story with the what was it, Sora? That comic strip or something.
The Warrior of the Sea, the Warrior of the Sky, Warrior of the Sea.
Yeah, he could be like a descendant of that actual story or actual. Yeah.
I mean, he could very well be a Lunarian in some way, right? Because
for sure,
Sora means sky, and then the fact that Judge, his epithet is Garuda, which is the the legendary bird, right? And then the fact that his ability is also like Sanji's ability, is often tied to being flame related. He's often able to do Geppo and able to go up into the sky, and then he kind of shoots down into the ground. And so he's very much a bird-like character. Even in Wano, where we see all the Hanafuda cards as like the what do you call them? The eye catchers. The Hanafuda cards are those like illustrated cards. I don't know if you guys remember those. Yeah. So his one was with the bird.
It's even deeper. Think about it. He has all of what a Lyrian could do, because the moment his raid suit activated his DNA, his skin also. Think about it. He has got his bone crushed and then healed it instantly after Queen. So if you think about it, like, and it's interesting that it's Zoro who fought King. Who fights the most Zoro all the time on the ship is Sanji. Mm-hmm. It's looked like Zoro was literally trained his entire career in the Straw Hats to fight King, in a way.
And one more thing with the whole bird thing Kuso was talking about in Sanji, wanted to add the whole Thriller arc. I think penguins are birds, right? His shadow was put into a penguin.
Exactly. It's funny though, because he was put into a penguin, but he had a dog face, whereas Zoro, who's a dog character, had a bird head. Yeah. When he was a zombie, so they were kind of like flipped a little bit.
Well, I thought Zoro was just as. You mean that
he was a samurai, but his hair, his hairstyle, was in the shape of like a crane. Like a bird? Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny it's a penguin.
So for context, because Kuso keeps mentioning like this dude is a dog, this one is a bird and all that. For the people who don't know, Kuso then dropped the new theory like a few days ago, which is pretty good. Do you want to like explain something about that, mister? Because like otherwise I feel like our listeners might be a bit confused.
What? No, we said specifically it's zombies and Thriller bark.
Yeah, but
if you're not an absolute fraud, then surely you would know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do, but you keep saying like Nami's an ape, like Zoro is a dog. Like you gotta explain something.
Okay, so basically I talk about in the video how a lot of the characters in the story of One Piece, they can be associated to different animals. Like Mihawk is a hawk, Monkey Luffy, he's obviously a monkey, Garp is a dog, Zoro is a dog, and Sanji is a bird. And Oda is very deliberate with this, even with actually indicating what animals the Straw Hats would be, right? Like we actually get that in the SBS. And so I've done a whole video, an hour long, talking about how these different animals are actually quite significant in the world of One Piece.
Yes, and it's good. So there you go. Now you have an explanation for that. Didn't mean to interrupt
the context,
but I felt like
not so good.
People might want to know.
Actually, the penguin thing is interesting because you think about it. It's just that Sanji is like not even for Solo Bark. Think about it. Penguin's color theme is the Sanji's color theme, and penguins are known are being birds, but they're flightless. And how do people correlate like they do travel? Is because they can travel high speed underwater, even though they're birds. If you think of Sanji, he's a human, quote unquote, who literally could also literally fly with his skywalk, but also he could run at fast speed, just like a penguin does. So it's
Isn't he also from the South Blue? Isn't penguins only in the South?
He's from the North Blue, Sanji, I think.
He's North. Okay, the complete opposite then.
Yeah.
Right, we'll disregard everything I said.
I actually have a question for you all and I'm happy Kev is here because I've been talking on TLA streams the last few weeks, especially with Zeph. With the current chapters, especially, the confirmation about flooding. I'm really interested about the All Blue, especially with, Sanji's lineage. Like, where did he we've seen quickly, but we didn't really know how he really got inspired, like why he clicked on that dream, the All Blue. I'm very curious about that. What's your thought on it, like, because it became very, important now.
Definitely. I think the All Blue, especially after what happened in the last chapter with the reveal of what the world used to be, is a lot more important because it seems like it could have been a real place that existed in the past, but it's something that was reinterpreted from, like, the legends that used to be what the world was, and now it's just like some ocean where everything used to be, where reality could have been like. So because there's 4 of them, presumably, with the 4 blues, I've been having a lot more of a brain rot thing where I'm like, okay, so whatever's in the middle, that's got to be crazy important. And I'm thinking, all right, if there's something in the middle of all 4 of the blues, if they are the continents or whatever, that could be the All Blue,
True, yeah, exactly. And to add on what you're saying is, the one also I'm interested in is, obviously, he's not a member of the Straw Hat, but it's Zeph, if you think of how the Bratsu was built. The platform, that those small ships in case it submerge so that people can escape. So yes, like it gets really interesting, the All Blue agenda now with the flooding. Yeah. What about you guys, Kuso, Marv, Andy?
And the moment I saw the whole reveal about the world's gonna sink into underwater, but it's gonna flood by Vegapunk, first thing I thought that I was like, oh, Sanji's dream is gonna come true. What if this whole talk of the all blue is just like rumors going around about old tales about how the world was flooded from the past, and it's gonna happen again, and they're gonna create the all blue. I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. But besides that, like the whole, the famous theory that if the red line gets destroyed, the all blue will be there, and then Sanji's dream will come true. So it's a win-win for Sanji. If the Straw Hats, or if they fail and the world gets flooded, his dream will come true. If they succeed and destroy the red line and everything's connected, his dream will still come true. So I think Sanji's in a really good spot right now when it comes to the all blue.
I mean, no matter what, the red line has to be destroyed for the all blue to happen, right? Even if the world gets flooded, because it's the red line is so tall, it wouldn't matter. We still wouldn't have the all blue, right?
Yeah.
Unless we have it destroyed.
If it's that tall, it is really tall, I guess. I guess even if the world were to get flooded again, it still wouldn't go over the red line. Probably not.
I feel like that would be the whole point, right, for the Celestial Dragons, is to flood the rest of the world, not themselves, with it.
Exactly. Absolutely. I feel as though I was thinking about how ridiculously tall 200 meters is, because I always assumed, like, I'm 6 foot exactly, and I always assumed that 3 feet is somewhat equivalent to a meter. And I was thinking, okay, so 100 of me is as tall as how they rose the flood levels, and that is crazy on its own. But then I saw some tall buildings and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh god, yeah, this is a absolutely absurd amount, So having
it really is.
Having the red line be such an absurdly high thing, it obviously adds to the idea of not only could they do this, they could probably keep doing this. Say there's like Dressrosa, for example, like the Flower Hill that was there, that could possibly be its own island. They would call it Flower Island, and Dressrosa wouldn't be a thing. It would just be Flower Island, just because that's just one example, obviously, but to that extent, it shows how, the geography of the One Piece world, because of the absurd height differences and absurd character heights and all that, it allows it to have, absurd things happen at the same time. But because we're so invested, it's able to, have these absurd things seem really threatening, which is something I really appreciate in the story.
I'm actually confused about the whole flood thing still. Like, I was talking to Marth about it, and he's like, I don't know why you're confused about it, and I'm still confused. But, like, for example, with O'Hara, right? Like, a lot of people assume the weird tree trunk at the center of the island, that had something to do with the flood, because it's thin at the bottom, and then suddenly it kind of gets really thick, as if that water line was there at one point. But we see the roots of that tree attached to the island.
Mm-hmm. True.
And also the water level isn't that high anymore. Does that mean it receded? But also, like, if it did go 200 meters up, that means that tree was on top of a mountain?
So, actually,
and then,
I think there's a lot between, if you look between Alabasta to Water 7, look at how they talk about how the water is regulated in this world. And then you look at all islands between Alabasta to, if you take out Little Garden, where there's still dinosaurs, so it could play a role with it, but look at Whiskey Peak, has giant cactuses. Drum Island is always cold, so there's a water element with snow. Alabasta has a big lack of water, that's why there's a desert. And then they talk about how current water and seawater merge together, and then in Water 7 they introduce how they regulate the water. That's how they're able to do Water 7. I feel like either the Gate of Justice or Reverse Mountain is used to funnel that extra water away. Maybe that's why there's the Gate of Justice, in case something happens.
Yeah. I could easily see it being the Gates of Justice, because it's like the Marines themselves control the way the world works at that point in the story. So them controlling the water of the world also would distract, in my opinion.
Yeah. This also would explain why it seems that Paradise have more. They seem to rebuild more Paradise, and if you look at the New World, there are buildings made of stone, but also wood. if you look at some of the places, like think of Jaya, everything was made of wood. And we know that for Cricket's home is because half of his home was destroyed because of the knockup stream, which is water related. So I'm wondering if that's why most of Paradise, if you take out Alabasta and Drum Island, that's very high, a lot of them are just made of wood. And what wood does, it floats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like maybe Paradise suffered the most.
All right, so let's bring it back to Sanji's ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
Marth, I'm going to ask you a question. So Sanji's race seems to be very much sort of connected to technology and, you know, fire, and that would sort of tie into Prometheus with the Greek god. Do you think that Sanji's race had anything to do with the ancient kingdom, potentially, for example, which, you know, also had great technology back then?
Okay, so as a Mars translator, I'm going to give you his summary right now. His summary. So Mr. Land here, Mr. Land said, do you think that Sanji and his ancestors have any connections to Prometheus and fire? Is that an approximation of your thoughts?
Sorry, I'll be honest, you're cutting off like every 2 seconds. Can you repeat that question?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see if... let me see.
Is any
I thought you were saying it to Mars.
Wait, nah, like, I think you should be able to hear him just fine.
Oh, really? Everyone else is hearing him fine?
Wait, he's cutting out for you?
No, he was cutting off a little bit, but I thought because he was talking away from the mic to talk to Marth or something.
No,
That's
for
what
me,
I
it's
was-
like whenever
Yeah,
Kev
for me.
talks, it's just like
Oh no,
no.
That
I
was only
hear-
that. No, it's
I
not
hear
at all
him
for me.
clearly. I've never heard. There's no issue on
It
my
wa-
end.
It was just a
Really?
little bit right now. Just a little right now when
Okay,
he was
so it's
talking.
just on
But
my
before
end
that,
then.
nothing. Yeah.
that's so weird.
So, but I am gonna finish in preparations for dinner for my guest right now, so I have to dip out for a second.
Okay,
So
I
keep
see.
cooking with him while I'm cooking in real life.
Just like Sanji.
No pun.
All right, so Kev, what was the question? Sorry.
No, the question... I was repeating your question to Mars.
Yeah,
'cause
man,
He was
yeah.
away from the headphones.
That's how bad it was. Like I couldn't even tell if it was a question or not. I'm like,
Yeah, he just
pretty
repeated
sure
what
there was
you
a
said.
question in the end. Oh, okay. Yes, then yes.
I mean,
That
If
is
you
the
think-
question I was asking. Yeah.
if you think about it, I could see it in a way, like the role of Prometheus, you know, bringing fire to the people in a way. When you come with, if you analyze how the first 5 Straw Hats when they were joined, if you think about it, Sanji is the one who brings more stuff, you know, back to put your. If all the Straw Hats always are in the head in the cloud, Sanji is always the one questioning stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like questioning Luffy, why do you eat a devil fruit if you cannot swim? While everyone in the Little Guardian is so crazy doing this stuff, he's the one like finding Mr. Three's hideout, and him like just telling to Mr. Zero, they're all dead, you know. So I always felt like, you know, and since Prometheus brought to fire to humans, you know, to humanity.
In the form
I don't
of
know.
knowledge, technology, and civilization. Yeah.
Yeah, so for the Stride, it could be, you know, bringing them a bit more into reality.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Andy?
With the whole Prometheus thing, like, yeah, I already for sure, like, yeah, it could be connected to the Mother Flame, the whole thing with Nika giving fire to the people. I mentioned that in my recent theory. And, but with Sanji, like, yeah, he could be a descendant of Nika, of Sun God Nika, like, more instead of Luffy. Like, because, you know, the whole fire.
Like an
and
actual
the sun.
blood relation to Nika
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, which would explain the fire and all that, or, well,
Do
he
you
does have
think
the
Nika
DNA.
would have been connected to Joy Boy by blood, or do you think they're unrelated?
I wouldn't be. I would feel like they might just be unrelated. Just like he was like the next one, that would be just like Joy Boy, the next, or Nika, the next Joy Boy, or the next Nika would be Joy Boy, and yeah, he would just. I guess it was just fate. Like, but I don't really think they're necessarily related. Maybe just to carry on the will. Like he's just a person being related and being a person capable of carrying on someone's will. Like they're both two different things. They don't have.
It could also be the whole Ace and Sabo, and that's why maybe Oda is making such an emphasis on the mirror in the story. Sabo's speech when he eats the mirror. If it translates to the voice century, it could be Joy Boy talking about Nika eating his will. You'll always be with me, my friend. Your fight is my fight. You know, and Ace, how Ace died, smiling. People all, you know. So it could be like Oda writing up like how Nika left this world.
It's also interesting with Vegapunk's connection to Icarus in one of the latest chapters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like also a mythological character
Greek, right?
who was kind of connected to invention or technology as well as fire kind of sort of connections, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if I don't know what I wonder. Sorry, my brain's rotted.
I wonder if we'll get something with Mr. 3 where he'll fly close to the sun. He'll be able to make wings out of his wax powers. And
I mean, he wouldn't need Mr. 3 for that. He can literally just use Gipple, right?
Yeah, true. You can just, but yeah, then there's another thing breathing in space. But then
that's a cover picture or a color spread right there. Mr. 3 with wax wings flying to the sun.
Like, yeah, it's obviously not, it's out of context. But I was talking with Dead Den a few years ago about Icarus. When you think of Mr. 3 having fire and wax, and Crocodile seems to want hiding his identity while he was in Borgwars. And I said, what if whole scoreline, the whole Crocodile, like what happened with Ivankov? Did Ivankov change his gender or not? Stuff like that. Like, what if instead it's all about his identity? Like, he had to go into hiding. He became Icarus. And Crocodile loves information, but what if he got too greedy like years ago? And so that's why Crocodile always has to hide. Not realizing, like, maybe he knows something that Gorsey would sentence him. So I always felt like it seemed that Crocodile is a bit of an Icarus.
True. Yeah, he did fly too close to the sun.
Yeah, but...
So, Kev, if you had to place Sanji as with a lineage from the Void Century, what would you say?
So, for that, I'm not entirely sure how I feel. Because I feel as though having Sanji's connection with the Vinsmokes, and specifically genetic experimentation, that is a lot more powerful and self-specific to Sanji. And I think giving Sanji some ancestor who definitely, I think, could exist. Like, Germa has been around for a really long time, to the degree that they're basically fictionalized popular comic characters. So I feel like I guess the closest example would be like how people know about like Batman or Superman or Spider-Man, even though they might not have read anything or watched anything. They at least know these characters exist. That's how popular they are. So I could easily see Sanji's ancestors being, present in it to further establish how high in power they were at the time.
So you feel like the
really
Vinsmokes
cool.
could have been around during the Void Century even?
They definitely could have been. I don't know. I don't see the reason as to why they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And the fact that like their riders, like the Dendon Snails, I wonder if they were even like the ones that invented it in the first place. Like they're the ones that actually connected the world by giving them communication.
Completely agree.
So I actually had a thought of, obviously we've seen the Vinsmoke and those kind of stuff, but I said it's very interesting because it does seem that even though they had a chance at the Reverie, right? It seems that they have a deep lineage, but yet they didn't have a land. Their own land was their island, right? So I was wondering what if the Vinsmoke were like the Daimos in Wano, the ones who did not basically they refused to recognize the world government all those years ago. If they were like, they were part of the High Royal. So when the 20 Kingdoms happened, they literally got, they took their national treasure, could be the Dead and Mushis, and took away their land from them. But they were still able at some point to get back into the Reverie. Because think about it, Judge was completely exempt from his evolving with the Mads. We've only seen that with someone who has deep connection to either a Celestial Dragon or is a Celestial Dragon.
Wait, was Caesar Clown also exempt as well, right?
No, he got a bounty and everything.
Oh my god.
Did he really?
He was working with Vegapunk, but afterwards he got a bounty in the 4 years.
After that, yeah.
But they said Judge was let go. Judge was explained to have been let go because of his royal lineage. So it kind of makes me think of it's more than royalty. I think Kev is right. I think he could go back to the Ancient Kingdom, or at least the times of the Ancient Kingdom.
What about you, Andy?
Still on the Sanji topic. I can't believe we're still talking about something. There's a lot to talk about. But yeah, like I do think Sanji probably it's multiple layers. Like he got his DNA could connect him to stuff from the Void Century, like that was like the whole manipulation that Judge did to him or whatever, and then he could actually, because from Sora's side too, like he could have some kind of tie to the Ancient Kingdom also. So yeah, from both ways, I feel like he's probably maybe not plot really relevant. Kind of, but we'll know maybe just putting the pieces together that he's just connected to the past, like his family.
All right, well, while you're on the roll, do you want to start talking about Usopp, the next person?
Yeah, Usopp. All right, well, Usopp, we know there's Usopp, Yasopp, and Momsop, and they all have big noses, right? Even Yasopp?
No, it's Usopp and his mom only. Yeah, Usopp has a normal
okay.
nose.
What was her name though? She should have had a name.
But I think it's Branchina, something like that.
Branchi or
Sounds-
something. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
sounds-
So-
Thinking about it,
Don't
you think she was related to the girls from Water 7, the Kiwi
Yeah.
and what are their names? The Kiwi,
Moza?
Moza, the Sanji's fangirls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me. But yeah, she for Usopp, I really can't think if he really is connected to the boy to the past as any kind of lineage. He's just a legendary warrior of the sea.
So actually, I might have a thought for Usopp, and it's what you said about Sanji believing that might have lineage to Nika. I don't know if it's lineage, but I'm wondering if Oda is writing Usopp as Nika. It's Nika's story. So basically, we're seeing through Usopp's story how Nika was as a person. Like, when we meet Usopp, he's this person who doesn't care about... People hate him. He doesn't care about that. If he's called a liar, all he cared was to make Kaya happy by telling him stories that made her laugh. And Mary explained that it's weird, but no medicine is working. The only thing that helps her feel better is Usopp's story. That's why Mary still, let him stay more than Kuro. Then we see what's called in Skypiea. Luffy dances just like Nika, but he has a fruit, the will. Usopp naturally dances just like Nika. Right. And in Dressrosa, he was called Sun God Nika under the sun. When the platform fell, remember they pulled him up under the sun, and it was like this. Oh, are we witnessing a deity? So I'm wondering if Oda's showing us what type of deity Nika was. It was more someone who was not someone who was a liberator per se, but more someone who inspired liberation. Like free people from their heart. Like if you think about Dressrosa, Usopp freed people's heart, while Luffy physically freed them, but Usopp actually made people fight for their own town.
So Cube, you kind of feel like basically Usopp is kind of the embodiment of what Jobu or Nika was like, but he himself is just kind of a normie. He just has a long nose, but that's not like a special ability or anything.
No, I don't think so. I think basically it's like if we have to do a hero's journey, he's showing Nika's hero's journey through Usopp's point of view. Like we're seeing the closest to what Nika was as a person. Maybe he was not like a Luffy character, he was more like an Usopp or even a Kobe character, who at the beginning he was more inspiring and dreamed for big things, and then went to his own adventure and started living his life, and inspired other people while he did that.
One thing I wanted to add, when you asked me about Usopp when I changed the whole topic to Usopp, I just remembered, he could easily be connected to Nolan since he said he was a descendant of Nolan or something in Dressrosa.
Mm-hmm.
So that could actually be a thing, like he's telling the truth. And so we could talk about the Mont Blancs.
How he's... for sure.
Yeah, they seem really significant. They're considered liars. Usopp is a liar, and Nolan was an admiral, but I guess it's a different kind of admiral, I think. And Nolan was probably, they kind of have a lot of parallels to Roger, and Usopp could be the next Nolan. I don't know, something like that. But yeah,
there's also another thing. Think about Usopp has the whole Pinocchio theme, right?
Oh, cricket. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah.
His caution. Yeah. Literally, cricket could represent the caution of his caution to Pinocchio. So yeah.
What's the deal with chestnuts, though?
Oh, dude, I got scared. I thought you were talking about the content creator. I was saying, what do you mean? Oh, okay, yeah, the chestnut on the head, yeah.
Oh.
I was wondering where you were going with this. Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't... for chestnuts, I don't really know any kind of history or folklore or anything with chestnut mythology.
We do have a fruit specialist on board at the moment. Kev, what do you think about chestnuts? I know it's not a fruit, but...
I don't think I've ever eaten them. I don't think I have.
You've never had chestnuts before?
I don't think I have.
I thought it was in the States, it's like a really autumn thing to eat or something. Am I mistaken?
It's a Christmas thing more than anything.
Yeah, chestnuts.
Usually it's just the song, and that's really it.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's more of a European thing, like in Germany, Germany countries like that. Because in Belgium, we're the same thing. They heat up chestnuts.
The nutcracker and the nuts, you crack the chestnut.
Wait, is that what the nutcracker is for? I thought it was for like a walnut.
It's for walnut, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different kinds of nuts. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you saying there's different kinds of nuts?
There definitely are.
Yes.
These nuts?
Yeah, definitely.
There's actually a brand where I live in America, and they actually made like a thing, which is so they're like a meat packing industry, I guess, and they made little I guess like beef jerky is the closest equivalent I could do for it, but they made like kind of like a Slim Jim, cut it up, and then they sold that separately as this thing called Heats Nuts, because the company's called Heats and Watson. I don't know. That's not particularly interesting. I just think it's funny. So it's called
It is
Heats
funny.
Nuts.
It's great.
Yeah.
No, that's a great gem. Thank you.
For the chestnut, I've always wondered for something is, you guys ever seen the Nika spear? It does look like the form of that chestnut that Nolan has, just a bit more sharper at the edge.
Interesting. Yeah, it kind of.
It's just more edgier on the side.
It's also similar shape to what we see with the Godfrey bell in Shandora, right? At the tops, like it's quite common in Buddhist sort of temples and sort of like on top of their like with Buddhist statues, they usually have this weird like hairstyle that's actually in the shape of a chestnut as well. So I wonder if it's some sort of connection to that.
I'm looking at about what chestnuts are, like stuff about them, and there's a lot of stuff about in Japan, like how they're used for like New Year's and for the fall. And then it says, I found another thing, chestnuts are often used in the design of autumn calendars. The body of the chestnut, pounded chestnuts, is called kachiguri in Japanese, and the word kachi is similar to the word victory. I don't know if this is true, Kuso. I don't know if it was considered a food by the samurai as a food to pray for victory, which maybe could kind of tie into Nike, the goddess of victory.
I've never heard of the yakuri.
Yeah,
interesting. I'm not too
but
sure.
I don't know. This is Google. I don't know if it's. Remember the other day we were talking. You're like, that's completely wrong. I'm like, I just Googled this.
Damn Google, leaving us astray.
What's interesting is there's something interesting I'm reading about chestnuts. So like that apparently they say that chestnuts are edible for humans, but interesting enough, for some horse, chestnut could be poisonous. They avoid to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, which you figure One Piece, a lot of horses have been shown, so it's just interesting.
We're talking about mare.
It's true.
Oh my god. The layers. The layers.
So he's a One Piece character all by himself, Andy.
So, Kev, Usopp, in a nutshell, has a long nose, can make some predictions come true. He's a sharpshooter, just like his daddy.
Yep.
Do you think any of those tie into anything that happened in the past?
Well, obviously his dad. I mean, we got to get some more lore about him. But you probably mean the Void Century in general.
I mean, we don't even have to go that far back if you don't want to. Yeah, just what do you think about him as a character?
Well, I love Usopp, of course. He's one of my goats. But I feel as though having Usopp have this, like, again, family connection thing, it would kind of ruin the point of his character a bit in my eyes. Because Usopp is supposed to be the everyman. He's supposed to be the guy who's, like, struggling, just dealing with any of this stuff. So,
I agree. Like, he's probably the one character in the Straw Hats that I wouldn't want, like, a special lineage from him, almost. Like, all his, like, cowardly ways and then overcoming those, I feel like if you then go, oh, no, but he was some sort of, like, a OP race back in the days, or OP family back in the days, I feel like it would take away from it a little bit.
Yeah, well, at least the whole Mont Blanc stuff doesn't... I don't know how far back they go, their lineage, but it was before... It was after the Void Century, or Ancient Kingdom, that Nolan stuff, right? I'm pretty sure it was after. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said...
Yeah, maybe he doesn't go that far back.
Like I said, for me, the only thing that makes sense if they're all from a special lineage is if it's basically... I've said this, if it's a cycle... If there's some sort of groundhog type of thing with the wilts, that's something that would make sense, you know. But yeah, it's like, I'm not big on the whole, like you guys, I'm not big of, I want it to be like Luffy, you know. That yes, he's from a special lineage, but they all failed. He wasn't the chosen one, he's just a monk of a special family that can only do what they're supposed to do, you know, bring people together for some reason. But the way they work is like Luffy is not. Yes, he has the Joy Boy food, but what does he say? He's the second person in 800 years, meaning that all the other ones failed to hone on to the power. Meaning that Luffy had to work really hard to be that second person in 800 years. If they do it that way, I think there won't be any trouble. But you know, they can be shortcuts.
For sure. Yeah.
But
should we move on to Zoro?
Yeah, I was gonna say, does anybody have anything else to say about Usopp?
Not too much, eh?
Do you have an issue of Nami? Oh, wait, did we start already? We already started.
We
Nami, sorry.
started
Oh,
with
wait,
Nami
wait,
for
oh,
some
Nami,
reason.
yeah,
because
man,
we
we were going on about
No.
Nami for a long. No,
Yeah,
Sanji
yeah,
was actually
absolutely.
longer than Nami. I think we were
Yeah.
going off about. We ended up talking about for like 15, 20 minutes about the all blue or something. like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
From Sanji.
Actually, you guys, just before we go to Zoro, we do mention, you guys talked about Yasop, getting more into Yasop. I have this headcanon of the way Izo respected Usopp, called him God Usopp, those kind of stuff. I think it's because Izo had run-ins, because Izo was a sharpshooter of the Whitebeard pirates. And we know that the Shanks crew had run-ins, obviously like the Roger pirates had run-ins with Whitebeard pirates. So I'm wondering if Izo, that respect of, he immediately saw Usopp, he called him God Usopp, and he says, I'll back you up.
Well,
He probably saw
because-
that. He probably saw, oh, that's probably Yasop's son.
Yasop's son, and what
No
he heard
questions
of.
asked.
So, and it's Luffy's marksman. Definitely he is powerful,
Yeah, that
But
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
what a goat.
Rest in peace, Izo. Never be forgotten.
So next would be Zoro, right?
Yep.
All right, so I want to start off with the whole Zoro lineage thing. The other day I was looking stuff about Gaimon and the guy in the treasure chest with the green
Yeah, we
afro.
know.
I'm like, and then I was looking at SBS stuffs with Oda, and he had shared a picture of Zoro with if he let his hair grow, and he pretty much grew a green afro. And you know who else has a green afro? Gaimon. Goemon's so much easier.
Yo, you even took a pause to get it right, and then you fucked it up.
What if they're related? And I don't know. Pin Zoro said he was dead, or Pin Zoro died to pirates and all that. And
Yeah.
maybe there's some kind of connection. And besides that, for sure, Zoro, the whole Ryuma thing, they're related. They go way back. But further back behind that, I could for sure see Zoro being from the Ancient Kingdom. For sure. From the past. For sure. He's guaranteed related.
To your
100%,
credit,
I think.
with the Gaimon thing as well, like, it was kind of odd that Oda decided to just let Zoro sleep for that whole island.
That
And
is
not
true.
enter the island at
Wow.
all. So there might be some sort of a strange connection there. Not necessarily by blood, but maybe some sort of thematic one.
What was it? Was it confirmed? How Gaimon? Was it confirmed how Pinzoro died? It was by pirates, right? But did we
Yeah,
see a body?
I think
or was it
so,
just
yeah.
a rumor?
No. It's just SBS. We never.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just put 2 lines: "Killed by pirates." But that's my agenda, guys. I've been saying it. I believe if we're gonna get a voice entry flashback of Joy Boy's crew, and they'll be the crew will parallel the Straw Hats. I think the one who's Zoro joined the crew when almost everyone died, and there was only Joy Boy maybe in it. Because if you think about the amount of time that basically Zoro's not always with the crew, but he had a lot of fights with just Luffy. He's not there with the Gaimon stuff. He's not in Whole Cake. He's not in Marineford. Well, most people stars are not in Marineford, so it makes sense. He's not, and he was the first one in Sabaody to be sent away. And what if that's the opposite? He's showing every member that died one after the other in Sabaody in the original Joy Boy crew. So it started. It's so the last person, which is Robin, was the first one to go, and Zoro was the last one to go. Roof Piece, they're separate from the crew. Luffy and Zoro are in a different place. Like he keeps being isolated from the rest of the crew. So I'm wondering if he only met Joy Boy at the time, and then did not reconnect to the crew at the time and the Void's entry.
I like that idea a lot, actually, because it goes to show that Zoro is not connected to Joy Boy in any way, but it has that inherited will kind of spirit, which I like a lot. But I really like how Zoro is the last that's around, and obviously he's the first that joins Luffy. He's the one that calls him the Pirate King first. Like, that I'm a big fan of.
And think about if it's a cycle, try to recreate his crew. If for some reason Zoro, having him too late, Zoro's the only one where Luffy heard his name and said, I need to go to that island. He went to Shelltown for Zoro. He didn't. All the other ones was just natural. He actually created the situation where he meets Zoro. So it could be, like you said, inherited will. He knows that he needs to get maybe that's. I always said, what if the reason why Joy Boy fails is he gets the wrong people at the wrong pattern. Like, think of Whitebeard, Roger, and Luffy. They each recruit. They have the possibility to recruit 2 people for Wano, but they do it differently. Roger never goes to Wano, as we see, but he recruits He recruits Odin. And Whitebeard goes to Wano, refuses the guys from Wano, but Oden and Izo still come. And then Luffy goes to Wano and tells Yamato and Momo, 2 members, you remember my crew, but stay here. Guard your this is my new territory. Guard Wano, protect it. You know, like there's maybe a pattern on how Joey will succeed. You know, so it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, definitely. I do think, just think about the Zoro stuff more, I really like the idea of Zoro just becoming his own, you know, being in his own league. You mentioned that, and I enjoy that a lot because, let's say what you said about how Zoro was in the wrong place at the wrong time for Joy Boy. That kind of reminds me of Blackbeard's crew, how they all were seemingly, you know, I'm going to put air quotes, seemingly, you know, in the right place at the right time, but I'm pretty certain they're all going to kill each other, you know, at the end of the day, because they don't care about each other at all. So I don't know, I just think that's really interesting.
Then I'll let Andy and Kus, I'll end my fingers, because I always find it very interesting. If every time I do a rewatch, every rewatch I do of like East Blue to I think Alabasta, if you look at Zoro, other than Usopp a bit, but Chopper, he doesn't really open up to the rest of the crew. He's closed down to Nami, even to Alabasta, even Vivi, he's very closed down to her as well. So it kind of makes me think of maybe it's Oda writing, if, you know, what I'm saying about is, in the Void Century, he never really connected to them. So he just naturally, because maybe Chopper and Usopp in that cycle maybe connected with Zoro, so he has an easier way, you know. He just feels like it's familiar for him.
I like that a lot. Oh, and you know what? Ooh, okay. You know why I like this? Because let's say that's a cool way of connecting Zoro and him, meaning his inherited will, whoever is the Zoro ancestor or whatever, to whoever Chopper could be, because we know that fruits have that inherited will as well with Ace and Sabo. What if Chopper's not inherited, the previous version of the human fruit was an ally to Zoro? Like those two are connected. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, you know, because we know that Oda, if he was to give Zoro a devil fruit, it wouldn't be for himself, it would be for something he would use, which would be a dragon sword. So that kind of gives me that vibe of the ally with the devil fruit technique, you know? Oh no, I like that.
And we know Sengoku has a Hito, but the other Hito is Onimaru. And that Onimaru had his big thing in Wano with Zoro.
Oh, I like what you said, Kev, like the whole an ally that Zoro, what if like like hypothetically speaking, like maybe in another life, like like there'd be a person with Baby Five's fruit turns themselves into a sword, and Baby Five could turn their whole body into a weapon, right? So Zoro could technically wield Baby Five, and we've seen him wield Sogeking. So like it's a thing. It could be it, yeah.
Good wheeling Sogeking, yeah, and the docking, you know, like once they're all docked, I feel like it's gonna be the most powerful connection for the Straw Hats, you know. And possibly even Joy Boy's crew, because Joy Boy could possibly get them to all dock. You know, they could get them connected into even Robin. You know.
Only way to get her to dock is if you tell her Saul's docking with them or something. Saul's here with us.
She would do it.
She would do it in a heartbeat.
She would do it.
Yeah, it's like it's a Zoro. The Zoro one is an interesting one. Yeah, again, you know, I'm very curious on where Oda's going to go with Zoro. However, because I do feel like his whole just showing fighting, training, and sleeping, and jumping a lot of the other stuff. Then whatever he does to Zoro, he just says, "Oh, I didn't know Zoro was such a popular character." Well, here's his SBS about his lineage. Like, I feel like he's purposely teasing, keeping an arc for Zoro in the future, where he's going to go.
I hope so.
I guess too much of the lineage of like of his lineage would lead too much into the ancient kingdom. I guess like they don't want to with the whole what's her name's Toki.
Yeah, Toki.
Do you think Ryuma was around during the 4th century, or do you think it was post?
Ryuma,
yeah.
I definitely think it's possible.
Yeah.
But wait. No, actually, now I'm thinking. I'm not sure.
I have yes, and it's such a weak point, but it's the title of Nika is Sanganika, right? Well, the title of Ryuma is the God of Swords. I do feel like if certain titles are connected to eras, it could push that he was during the Void Century. You know, because of his title.
Well,
that's a weak point.
That's me, Ten and Mark. I'm part of this podcast too. I was absent. And I think that Ryoma was before the Void Century. For example, because of the dragons that are flying around. As we know, the Celestial Dragons, they really dig dragons. But there are no dragons anymore. I could go on, but I can't. Because there's one thing that Sora really good at. And that's drinking, right? Drinking booze. But what he's not as good at is eating. Because that's Luffy's thing. And because eating is Luffy's thing, we got to stop this podcast now because Kev and I also will have to eat lots now. and then we'll go to bed because we're both pretty fucking tired, but not into the same bed. Anyway.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different one.
Anyway, I missed most of it because I was in the kitchen, but I guess you guys were still cooking. But I guess it was a great episode. So if it was, guys, in the comments, let us know. Comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. Make sure to check out Kev D OG's YouTube channel if you not already have.
I appreciate you. And obviously, shout outs to everyone here. And make sure to sub to the podcast. But I heard that nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened at all, right?
Yeah, nothing happened.
So, and as always, Starknightandilex will kick off this podcast. Okay, it's me, Starknightandilex, and this was the last episode of... No, sorry, Andy. Go on. Kick it off.
Yeah, so next time you hear from us, we're going to finish off the whole Straw Hat talk about their lineage with Luffy. We're going to end it, and then we'll surprise you with what we're going to talk about next. But yeah, I think that's about it. Give a big shout out to Kev. Thank you for joining us. And I'm so jelly you're hanging out with Martha right now. I wish I was there. I am so peanut butter jealous right now.
Yeah, right now we are just both tired, so probably tomorrow is going to be better.
Yeah, hear all about it. All the shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll probably get on VC when we get back home or something like that. Anyway,
sounds great.
Has been great. Yeah, Kusa has also been here. Maybe you noticed now. And have a great day, evening, morning, whenever you hear this. And Marth out.
All right, peace everyone. Remember, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing.